Good morning and welcome to Wellbeing Wednesday. I'm delighted today to be joined by Pete Moles from Outside Ideas. Pete and I met through Networking In, which is a wonderful networking group, and the link will be in the comments. But today we are going to talk about depression because over the years, Pete, you've had quite a tough time.
Yes, Andy, thank you for having me with you. It's quite an honour to be here with you at Wellbeing Wednesday. I suffered with depression for 13 years in my mid-20s through to late 30s.
So let's wind the clock back because at the age of 10, you had a bit of a light bulb moment, didn't you?
Yeah, I guess I had some people in my life that I really looked up to, and I, from the age of 10, was telling anyone that would listen that I'd be a millionaire by the time I was 25. And I've just always been fascinated by business people and people who can create wealth. You know, I suppose I always thought it was quite a glamorous thing to do. I didn't want to be a footballer. I wanted to be an entrepreneur.
So you went through school, college, uni.
Yeah. Business.
Started traveling.
Yeah.
Traveled quite extensively and then came to a halt in New Zealand. Sure.
So travel's always been my absolute passion. I love it. And on my journeys around, I discovered that the lonely planets and stuff that I was reading when we were figuring out where we'd go next were usually 4 years old or 5 years old, completely tattered and worn. And at the time, it was the start of the whole social media revolution. And I came up with an idea for an online backpacker guidebook, a community-focused online backpacker guidebook. So the basic premise was people would rate and review the stuff that they did in return for discounts off the next stuff that they did. And at its height, there were 10 of us that were working on the project, and we raised money and built a website and stuff like that. And things were fun, definitely during that period of my life. Yeah.
So the fun kicked in, took your eye off the business model a little bit, and unfortunately it all went belly up. Am I right?
Yeah, pretty much. I think that the whole entrepreneurial journey that I'd been on and the people that I'd glamorized in times gone by, I really started to believe the hype. We were getting quite a lot of attention in New Zealand, and we were making some great contacts and things were going really well. And I think fundamentally, I took my eye off the ball and I didn't focus on the things that I needed to focus on to grow the business. I basically lost focus.
And that affected you quite badly, didn't it?
Yeah, I'd spent the best part of 18 months, building a business, and it was like losing a child when I lost my business, my first business. I passionately believed in it. I worked exceptionally hard. I shared the journey with a bunch of amazing people, and we all lost out, and it was horrendous. It was a really, really tough time.
So you went into a bit of an emotional tailspin.
Yeah, I mean, I got back from New Zealand and I was very quickly diagnosed with depression, put on tablets, and it took me an awful long time to finally get myself clean of those tablets. I spent more time traveling. I worked overseas, and I think I got very, very good at wearing a mask to not really let people know how I was feeling under the surface.
And it's interesting because I know that you came off the tablets on more than one occasion. And you did that like really sensible thing that all of us that take antidepressants think we can do, is that when we're feeling that much better, it's like, wow, I'm cured. and I'm just going to stop taking the tablets. And of course, it's like jumping off the edge of a cliff, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say I kicked the tablets successfully maybe 20 or 30 times in 13 years, because I'd get to a point where I was feeling much better, and one day I'd just stop taking it and I'd still feel fine the next day and the next day and the next day. And then 20 days, 15 days after I stopped taking those tablets, I'd be in fits of tears on the floor, not able to function.
Struggling to
Because
get up
there
in
is
the morning.
fundamentally a chemical imbalance in our brains when
Yep.
we're depressed, and you need those tablets to kind of keep you level.
It kind of, in some ways, it reminds me of sort of like diabetes. Diabetes can be controlled, but whether it's diet controlled or insulin controlled, as soon as you were feeling better, you wouldn't suddenly just stop controlling the diabetes. People think with things like depression, it's something that you can do.
Yeah.
And again, I asked you earlier on about life now and how is it now? And you said to me, because I said life seems good. And what was your answer?
Life is tough. Life is tough. We are running 4 businesses. We are very busy in our lives. There are some challenges with my little boy at school, which were completely unexpected, but have caused an awful lot of pain for myself and Sarah, my wife. But I think the thing that I've done and been able to do is understand my triggers. I came off tablets successfully 3 years ago because I did something different. Was it Einstein's definition of insanity, doing the same thing and expecting a different result? Well, I did that time after time after time, and the time that I actually did something different, I found hypnosis, I found self-help, personal development, I found a course called Action for Happiness, which was brilliant. And I think all of those things combined gave me the crutches that I needed to escape the tablets and kind of go on a different journey with it. And now I can look back 3.5 years since I came off those tablets. And I'm very grateful for my time fighting the black dog, because I know those things. I don't think I'll ever be cured of depression. I think that some people are more predisposed to it than others. But I think what I've done is found strategies that really work for me to help me understand what to look out for to avoid me going too far down on the spiral before I pick myself back up. So yeah, I think that I'm very grateful for my time, and I'm in a much better place now than I ever was.
And I think that's really interesting, because I agree. I think once you've suffered from depression, you're never cured. I always liken it to being an alcoholic that doesn't drink. And again, the triggers, you do learn to recognize your triggers. And if you can manage your triggers, it certainly makes the whole journey a lot easier.
Yeah, sure. Completely agree.
Peter, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been really interesting. And I know we're going to do another Wellbeing Wednesday at some point in the future, because you're just phenomenal. And heaps of love to Sarah. And carry on the good work with Networking In. And
you carry on the good work with what you're doing with Wellbeing Wednesday, mate, because, we watch, and what you're doing in giving people the time and space to talk openly about their challenges, I think deserves so much credit, because the more we talk about our challenges, the more it becomes a social norm and socially accepted. Thank you. So good on you, mate. Thank you very much. Take care, everyone.